5 things that I will say to my 20-year-old self. Plus, if you are curious what I'm doing in this video right now, watch to the end. Hello, this is Dihessa Bodjona and welcome back to my channel. Today I was inspired to share something that actually popped up in my mind recently when I was thinking about my younger self, when I was thinking about myself when I was 15 years old and 20 years old. What are the things, when I think back, what are the things that I wish I knew back then, right? What are the things that I wish somebody had said to me or whispered to me and said, Dihessa, it is okay. These are 5 days, so I came up with 5 things that I wish I knew back then. 5 things that I will say to my 15-year-old self or 20-year-old self back then. So the very first thing that I will say to my 15-year-old self or 20-year-old self will be this. It is okay not to be liked. It is so okay not to be liked. Okay, so some of you that are watching this video may have heard me share this before. Maybe you know me personally. My middle name, it's not even a middle name. My nickname in French is Gentil. Gentil really means the nice girl. So Gentil also means the girl that doesn't make any fuss. And I grew up with that name, right? Actually, only a handful of people knew me by my real name, my paperwork name. Everybody else called me Gentil all my whole entire life growing up. And so hearing that, for me, I took it as a responsibility to be liked by everybody. To be liked by everybody. So I'll twist myself inside out. I felt like the world was expecting me to be nice. And also I got attached to the fact that people were thinking that I was a nice person. And so that actually crippled me for so long without me realizing it, because I was doing all things. Like I was living my life with the intention that no matter what I do, it has to not make a fuss, it has to please other people, it has to be nice to other people, and that other people must like me. Actually, that is a kind of prison that we put ourselves, that I put myself into, now that I think about it. But now I realize actually, when we can find freedom, right, in not needing or not being attached to other people liking us, from that space we have even more power to create a life that is more fulfilling to us. The second thing that I will say to my 20-year-old self will be this: break out of the norms. There is so much power and there is so much sexiness in you being yourself, even all your quirkiness, even all your weirdness, even everything that may not necessarily fit into the norms, but are you. And the moment that you own it, there is so much power and so much, again, sexiness, and there's so much beauty in you owning yourself, right? All of it, in you owning all what other people may call beautiful, what other people may not call beautiful, what other people may call acceptable, and what other people may not call acceptable. As long as you are in alignment with yourself, oh my God, there is so much beauty there. There is so much beauty there. I wish I had known this when I was even 20 years old. Back then when I was 20 years old, I was trying to fit in so much. I was following all probably the trends. I was following what other people called beautiful. I was following I can't believe this, even like in my 20s, I would say, like maybe when I was 25 years old, for example. Oh, this is a whole other story for another time, but I'll share a little bit. When I first came to the United States, and I was looking at everybody around me, Americans, like I thought I was the only one that spoke the weirdest way, you know, and I was like, I need to learn how to speak like Americans speak. Like I need to fix my accent, I need to change everything, I need to look like an American, and all that. And I realized now, oh my God, even the way that I speak is a part of my uniqueness, right? Everybody doesn't have to be the same. The way that I wear my clothes is a part of my uniqueness. The way that you know, like I show up, the way that I wear my hair is so part of my uniqueness. And now I see how empowering it is to be able to embrace every single part of who I am, who I have been, every single part of my culture, every single part of the way that I show up, not by arrogance or not by thinking one culture is better than another or anything like that, just because it is, just because it is. And so that's the second thing that I would say to my 20-year-old. It will be break out of the norms. You don't have to fit in at all. All right, so what's the third thing that I would say to my 20-year-old self? Make mistakes on purpose. Oh my God. All right, so I guess this ties in a lot with me wanting to be a nice girl all my whole entire life. One of the things that I did that started really making me break out of, and I actually did this on purpose, break out of my wanting or my attachment to other people liking me so much, was I made a decision at some point to start making mistakes on purpose, right? What does this even mean? Sometimes, a lot of the, especially for me, it's been with my mentors, for example. Sometimes I was so attached to like what they were going to think about me, and even when I had the yearning to do something, even when I felt like, oh my God, this is something that I really, really wanted to do in my life, I'll be like, oh, maybe this person will not appreciate that, or maybe my mom wouldn't like this very much, or maybe other people around me won't like this very much, maybe my husband will not appreciate this very well, oh, he can tell you this one. And then I'll do it on purpose. Sometimes he says, I swear, you just do things so that I'll be pissed, or you just do things so that you don't do what I say you should do. Something like that. Yes. Because actually, if you, maybe this might be true for you, actually, for me personally, I am mostly attached to, you know, like the people that are closest to us. Their opinion matters to us so much so that a lot of the times we are willing to sacrifice ourselves. We are willing to actually do things that is not even in their own best interest, just so that we still keep this image of that they have of us. That's really what it is. And so for a while there, right, even until now, I still do it. When I see that, oh God, I feel so attached to this person's opinion of me, I'm like, no, that's one way that I break out of it, is I just make mistakes on purpose. Not that I'm trying to, you know, like, not that I'm trying to hurt anybody or something like that. It's just my way of detaching myself from the opinion of me. So if they start thinking something maybe bad about me, then there's only one way to go from there, is up. Anyway, so like, I hope this makes sense. Make mistakes on purpose. It's okay to make mistakes, right? Not only is it okay to make mistakes, I think I took it so much further, is I make mistakes on purpose sometimes, right? And later on, I realized that, of course, you know, like when I say mistakes, when I say on purpose, sometimes I mess up on purpose. That's what I mean. Sometimes I mess up on purpose so that I can break that shackle of attachment of other people's opinions of me. But in reality, when I say like making mistakes, it's okay. I realized later on that like real mistakes are so important for our growth. I used to want to be the good girl, the girl that doesn't make any mistake or doesn't even admit that she makes any mistakes. What kind of insanity is that? Now that I think about it. Anyways, Anyway, so mistakes are required. If you feel like you are at that point where you are so attached to other people's opinions of you, one little trick you can do that I did that works for me all the time is really making mistakes on purpose, so that I can break my attachment, so that I can be like, oh, okay, freedom. All right, I hope this makes sense. All right, so now the fourth thing that I will say to my 15-year-old or 20-year-old self. Oh, this one was big. All right, so it is see strength in your weaknesses, or in other words, your weaknesses are actually your strength. Your limitations are actually your strength. Oh my God, I wish I knew this. So one story, as I'm sharing this, one thing that comes up to mind, when I was growing up, I actually still have them, right? I had what was called knocked knees, and I still have them, right? I never changed, my legs are still the same. I had what was called knocked knees, and I was teased my whole entire life. It actually wasn't pleasant at all. Growing up, I thought that that was my biggest weakness. I really thought that was my biggest weakness. Sometimes it was kids teasing me. Sometimes it was even adults. That was even the worst for me. Like when I would hear it from adults, sometimes they will tease me in a very even endearing way. But as a child or as a teenager, that actually didn't sit very well. And I took it as, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not as good as other kids. I'm not as good as other people. Why do I have these knocked knees? And so on and so forth. And I remember that at some point when I was a teenager, I used to daydream about this. I heard that there was some like magical surgery that can be done either in Europe or in the United States that could fix knocked knees. And I used to daydream that when I grow up, I'm going to move, or I'm going to go to the United States, or I'm going to go to Europe. And one of my priority things that I'm going to do is get my knocked knees fixed. But it turns out, actually, that really shaped my character in a way. Going through that basically all my, like in elementary school, in middle school, even through high school, even as an adult sometimes, even now till these days, even till today, some people still will tease my knocked knees, right? But now, like as I'm talking about, I can even feel that in my body. But now I realize that like I'm so thankful to my legs. I wouldn't do anything to change them. And I realized that this is something that actually shaped my character, and this is something that is helping me and has helped me all my entire life find self-love without me knowing it. Get to the point where I can actually seek or reach for self-love without fitting, quote unquote, into what maybe other people may think is beautiful or not, right? So yeah, finding strength, it is, like everything. I see that, and again, for you, knocked knees may not be a big deal. For you, you may feel like, oh, I'm going through something much bigger. Everyone has their own, like things that they go through, but no matter what it is, what I have found now, and what I would say to my 15-year-old or 20-year-old that was going through that will be, that is actually your strength, right? Your weaknesses, all right? And I see that all the time. All my limitations that I've had at one point or another in my life have actually shaped me, especially when I move through them and I go through them, it's just so that it can strengthen some of my character. Your weaknesses are your strength. All right, now to the fifth thing that I will say to my 20-year-old self, my 15-year-old self will be this: dance your heart out. Oh my God. Anyone that knows me now knows that dancing is such a big part of my life. I nearly dance almost every day, right? Why? Because dancing, now I find, back then I didn't know, now I know dancing is actually one of the fastest ways to change your energy, right? When you are in a bad mood, and given I know when you're in a bad mood, most people don't feel like I want to dance at that moment, but even when you are in a bad mood, one of the fastest ways to change your energy back to a good mood is by dancing. And so I love music, I love dancing, I love moving my body. Sometimes even in the grocery store, I embarrass my kids all the time. I'm like stepping into my own moves and stuff like that. But that hasn't always been so. It wasn't that I didn't like dancing, it wasn't that I didn't like rhythm. It was that, again, I was told that I didn't know how to dance a couple of times, so I decided, yeah, Shanti, you don't know. Yeah, there you go. Shanti, you don't know how to dance, so forget about it. Let other people dance. Let other people do it. And now I realize, actually, there's no such thing as a good dancer or a bad dancer. As long as you can follow your own rhythm, as long as you can, there's something that happens. It's like there's something that happens when you can connect with your own inner rhythm. There's something that happens when you can feel and move your body to your own rhythm and your own movements and connect without even worrying about whether somebody is watching you or not. I really feel like you can connect to your divinity that way, right? If that makes sense. And now, oh my God, like if I were to say to my 20-year-old self, my 15-year-old self, one thing, the fifth thing that would be dance your heart out. Dance as if no one is watching. It doesn't matter if anybody is watching, just dance. Dance your heart out. There's your heart. If I had a bonus tip for my 15-year-old or 20-year-old, it would be this. All this that I just shared with you, for you to be able to own yourself, for you to be able to dance your heart out like no one is watching, for you to be able to be okay with not being liked, for you to be able to see your weaknesses as your strength, one secret thing that will allow you to do all these things so much easier will be to tap into your energy. If you want to change anything in your life, this is exactly what I would say to my 20-year-old. Start with changing your energy. At the beginning of this video, you may have seen me using this tool and doing this exercise earlier. This is called belly button healing exercise. I use this tool because it helps me become centered. It helps me, oh my God, there's such a science behind this. It also helps me not only change my energy, but become very in alignment with my inner self. I use this particular tool, but you can do it with your fingers. I have a video that can show you how to do it with your fingers if you've never experienced this before for yourself, and I'll put a link below for you to request it and experience this for yourself. Again, for you to, again, this will be for my 15-year-old, 20-year-old self. Everything becomes easier if you can connect energetically with yourself. So that's it for this video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. And if you have your own tips, your own things that you would like to say, you wish you knew when you were 15 years old or 20 years old, like what are the things that you will say? Like, I want to hear yours, right? Maybe I'll spark some conversation or for some insight in myself or everybody else's that is here. Share with us, what are the things that you will say to your 15-year-old and 20-year-old self? What are the things that you wish you knew when you were 15-year-old to 20-year-olds? To 20-year-olds. All right, see you in the next video. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel by hitting the subscribe button right below this video, and also make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you are notified when I post videos just like this one. Bye.